Hello, Magnolia families. The purpose of this video is to give you an overview of the progress report card so that at your conference we can maximize our time together and talk about your child's specific levels. On the report card for trimesters 1 and 2, you are going to see either an AC, which means area of concern, which means we are not yet seeing the progress we need to see, an EG, expected growth, meaning we are seeing the progress we need to see, or an NA, not assessed. If you see the NA, it's not that we haven't talked about it in class, we just haven't taught a full unit on that subject matter, and so we don't feel comfortable assessing it quite yet. At the end of the year, in June, you'll see a 1, 2, 3, or 4. 3 is at grade level, 4 is above, 2 is below grade level, and 1 is far below grade level. For the effort score, you'll either see an E, S, or N. E stands for excellent. They're going above and beyond what we need them to do. S stands for satisfactory. They're doing a great job. N needs improvement. That means that we need to see a little bit more effort for your child in that subject matter. So if you see an N on any of the areas of their report card, that just means that we need them to work a little bit harder. If you see an AC, an area of concern, in any of the categories of the report card, we just need for you to spend a little extra time at home with them on that subject matter, and we'll provide supplies for you to work with your child in that specific subject matter. The next thing you will see grades for is the habit of success. The habits of success are areas that we in Cajon Valley have identified that your child needs to have in order to be successful in their academic career. The first one is communicator, so that can they communicate with others? Can they listen? The next is collaborator. Can they work with others? Next, global citizen. Do they show self-control? Can they follow classroom and school rules? Then there's critical and creative thinker. Do they demonstrate critical thinking and problem-solving strategies? So can they solve their own problems, or do they still need to work on that? Next to last is self-directed learner. In class, are they responsible for their own learning and behavior? Do they use their class time productively? Do they do neat and careful work? Lastly is effective and ethical use of resources. That is a fancy term that means that they use their classroom resources responsibly. So if they need to write a letter and they're not sure about the letter formation, are they looking at their pencil box that has the alphabet on there? Are they looking at the front of the room where our alphabet is? Can they use the resources in the classroom to help them? The other section that you will see is if your child has an IEP or is an English language learner, you will see categories in this section checked off. If nothing's checked off in this category, it means that they are not an English language learner and they do not have an IEP.
Now we will be covering the math, the other subjects, and the reading section of our report card. So as you can see on this page, there are 3 different colors that can be highlighting the different categories of mathematics. The first one is pink. That means that it's being assessed all 3 trimesters. The next color is yellow, and that it means it's only being assessed during second trimester and the third trimester. And then last is the blue color, which means that it will not be assessed until the third trimester. So we're going to cover what we're expecting and going to be talking about during this first trimester conference. So during the first one is the effort score. That is something that Ms. Nelson already went over, talking about the different things that they can receive. That is just their effort and what they are putting forth during math time. So if they're working hard, if they're following along, if they have their tools ready and they're working. Counting and cardinality, eventually we're going to have our students doing counting to 100 by ones and tens, writing and identifying numbers to 20, counting to determine numbers of groups, and comparing numbers. For this first trimester, what we expect students to be able to do is count to 20 by ones, write numbers 1 through 5, and then being able to count objects that we give to them in a group, so that one-to-one correspondence, and comparing numbers. That means that they know the difference between greater, less than, and equal. Operations and algebraic thinking, we're not talking about that because that'll be in trimester 2. numbers and base 10s, measurement and data, geometry, that will all be assessed in trimester 3. Standards of mathematic practice. Are they able to make sense of math problems when given to them? Are they able to think about their math problems abstractly and quantitatively? Are they able to model with math tools and use their tools carefully? And are they able to work on a problem with precision? So those are all things that we're assessing while we're watching our students complete math in class. The other subjects, we have science, social studies, PE, and fine arts. Those are things that will be assessed all 3 trimesters. We as teachers assess them based off of our watching and seeing how they are participating during all 4 of those subjects. English language arts, this is an exception for qualified English learners. That's not something we do in kindergarten, so we're going to move right past that. The next category I'll be talking about is reading. So again, the colors are going to be the same as math. If it is highlighted in pink, that means it is assessed in trimester 1. And if it is highlighted in yellow, it's only assessed in trimester 2 and 3. For reading, there are no blue, so by trimester 2, all categories will be filled out. For reading, we start with our effort score. Effort score, again, is we're watching the students, seeing how they are participating during reading time, and we'll give them their score for that. The next is literature. We assess students on being able to ask questions and answer questions and retell stories that we have told to the students or that they have heard. We're really looking for students to be able to tell us what happened at the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story. And knowing the difference between different types of stories that they hear. Informational text, we're not going over those yet in trimester 1, so that will be listed as NA, not assessed. Foundational skills are knowing their letters, their upper and lowercase letters, matching them with their sounds, blending and segmenting letters, and then also being able to read. Right now, during trimester 1, what we have students being able to do is we expect students to know 26 letters, recognize 26 letters, that's 13 lower and 13 uppercase. They should know at least 13 sounds, 10 to be proficient. If they know 10 of their sounds, they will get an EG. And then for sight words, they should know at least 10 words to be proficient in that as well.
Now we're going to be going over ELA and our writing section more specifically. So the colors are still the same. The pink highlighted will be first trimester, and yellow won't be assessed until second trimester. So there's an effort score. So again, if your student is putting in the effort and trying their best in writing, or if they're kind of struggling and not putting in their effort for that. And then our first section in pink is text types and purposes. So at the end of the year, we'll be looking for if students are able to use drawing and writing and dictating to state their opinion or a preference about a book or a topic, being able to use drawing, dictating, and writing to write informative texts, and then also being able to do that with an event that has happened to them or in a reaction to what had happened. Currently in trimester 1, we are looking for students' pictures to be able to match the words that they are telling us. So for example, if their picture is of a tree, but then they tell us that they wrote that they went to McDonald's, then they are not proficient yet. They will not be getting an EG at that point. Their picture, if it's of a tree, maybe their words match to I went to the park. So that is an example there. Production and distribution will be assessed in trimester 2, so we will not be talking about that for this conference. For writing, we go over 3 different writing genres. We go over personal narrative, which we are working on currently, where they're writing a story, telling a story about either themselves or something that they've been a part of. Then we will be going into informative writing soon, where they'll be writing about a topic and teaching others about that topic. And lastly, we'll be doing opinions. So if they like ice cream over a cupcake, trying to tell someone what they think about something. On the left-hand side, here is an example of what writing may look like in the different stages. Many of our students right now are in the pre-writing stages, which is very common for the stage, or putting letter strings together. So, and another thing we want to note is phonetic spelling is not wrong. If they're writing down the letters that they are hearing, that the letter corresponds to that sound that they are saying, then that is correct. We don't want to pressure them to be writing the words exactly right now, because a lot of words do not match the sounds that they're hearing when you're writing them. So as long as they're writing the sounds that they hear, that is perfect. Next, we have our language section. So under language, it says showing understanding conventions, using grammar, capitalization, punctuation, and spelling. We're going to focus, we're not really focusing on making sure they have capitals at the beginning, periods at the end right now. We want to focus on right now, trimester 1, is whether or not students are able to speak and tell us what they're writing in full sentences, or convey what they're feeling in full sentences, complete sentences. And then we have prints legibly. So is your student able to write their letters to where the teacher is able to read and understand what letter they are writing? Speaking and listening. So are they able to talk and have a conversation with other people? They're participating in classroom conversations about whatever subject we are going over. They're following the rules for discussions, waiting their turn, raising their hands, and they're also understanding and using questions when appropriate, and words in an appropriate subject. Lastly, on this page is presentation of knowledge and ideas. So being able to clearly express what they are thinking or feeling, or their ideas in their brain, including details, being able to express that to either teachers or their friends. We will be observing this about the students throughout them. The last section here is our ELD section. So this will only pertain to students who are English language learners. And if this is your student, they are an English language learner, we will go more in depth with this with you about your student in your conference.
Now for some reminders. Make sure you're clearing out your child's backpack and folder every single night. Important notes and flyers will be in there for your viewing purposes. Some important papers are going to include maybe the homework or the flashcards. Make sure your child brings a water bottle to school every single day, and stay home if your child is sick. Homework log is due back on Fridays. We just need that sheet of paper that's listed right there in the blue square. We don't need any other work from you. So just make sure you check, and then you sign at the end. Please return your homework log every Friday. Make sure you're practicing your flashcards at home. We print them out so that you can use them. We try to print them out as often as we can, every couple weeks. So please make sure that when you see them in your child's folder, that you are practicing with them at home. We really want to bridge the gap between school and home. Some items to donate, if you are so inclined, are baby wipes, Clorox wipes, tissues, and prizes from the prize box. Chromebook instructions. So you will be receiving, or your child will be receiving their Chromebooks starting the first week of December, right after our parent-teacher conferences. And we want you to remember some helpful hints. First and foremost, do not let your child eat or drink next to their Chromebook. Second, please make sure that your child's Chromebook is fully charged that night so that it's fully charged when you come home, or when they come to school tomorrow, the next day. Make sure you keep the Chromebook in a separate backpack part or pocket, separate from their water bottle, because we can have some accidents, and we have had accidents before. Do not remove any labels from the teacher or from the school that are on the Chromebook, and please do not add any stickers or any labels. Thank you so much for your time, and we hope this is a great year for you, and we know it's going to be a great year for us.